Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, the 21st day of July 2020. And glad you could join us right here on TV47's Morning Cafe show with me, Linda Alela. As always, it's a pleasure to take you through the day, not really through the day, but to kickstart your day on a very good note. I mean, that guarantees you a good day ahead, as I'll be here to update you, tell you what is happening in the world of news, and importantly, discuss candid issues that affect you, of course, from wherever it is that you are. We take a look at the stories that we have prepared right here, and also what, of course, the newspaper stories have, or what, of course, the newspapers have. And, of course, it is always a pleasure to ensure that I get to do that with you. We have a series of activities set for this morning, so you can only tune in and be rest assured that you have a great morning ahead. And as you tune in, it is important that you interact with us. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the subjects that we'll be discussing. I'd also love to hear what you have to say about the stories that have been captured on the newspapers, and much more. Later on the broadcast at around 8 a.m. all the way to 9 a.m., we'll be discussing the mental stability and mental health amongst the police officers. For the longest of time, police brutality is on the rise, and we keep, blaming them, and we keep saying that there's something they are not doing right, that instead of maintaining order, instead of protecting us, they are doing contrary to it. So we get to also have their take. We'll be having a policeman on the other side who's going to take us through what their experiences are, something that is not so common. And most importantly, we delve deep into understanding how we can seek help for them, so together we are able to raise our proper society, for that matter. But before that, we take a look at the newspapers, we take a look at the stories that have been prepared by my team, and importantly, we also crunch deeper later on the second segment on these particular stories and the topics that we'll have picked on. So karibu sana, hashtag Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela. At TV47 is, of course, our Twitter handles, and you can drop your comments down there. You can as well call us live. The numbers will be running down on your screen, and the SMS short code also down on your screen for you to actively interact with us. So let's kickstart, as President Uhuru Kenyatta has scheduled an extraordinary session of the National County Government Coordination Summit set for this Friday following a surge in coronavirus cases. This session will be checking the county's state of preparedness and the effectiveness of the containment measures already in place, as Nanok Loren reports.
In a meeting scheduled for Friday this week, the summit that comprises of the national and county governments is expected to evaluate the county's preparedness and the nation's capacity to fight the novel coronavirus, the effectiveness of the containment measures currently in place, and its impact on the easing of restrictions that were previously in place. The summit will also look at the evolution of the disease and how it may transmit in the months of August and September. The meeting comes at a time the COVID-19 numbers are still on the rise, and more so after cessation of movements and restrictions were eased. From the month of March, when the first COVID-19 case was reported in the country, the number has continued to escalate. In March, only 59 cases were reported, whereas in April, 337 cases were reported. May documented 1,566 cases, which rose to 4,398 cases in June. In the month of July alone, for the past 20 days, a total of 7,414 cases have been recorded. From figures, a larger number has been reported in a span of 14 days since President Uhuru Kenyatta eased the movement restrictions in the country, with the total amounting to 5,713 cases, after 418 were reported to be positive today. The fraction having amounted to 41.49% against the national tally. Kenyans, however, have been seen to have resumed life as normal despite the spike in these numbers.
Let us not for a moment forget what this physical and social distancing means. We must be aware of that at all times and maintain those distances, because that is the way the virus spreads.
Nanok Loren, TV47.
And meanwhile, the Ministry of Health has noted with regret the don't care attitude amongst Kenyans in regard to adherence to the COVID-19 containment measures. The ministry has noted that bars and restaurants are operating beyond curfew hours while flouting the spelled measures, making the COVID-19 breeding grounds. Mwangi Minor reports.
According to the Ministry of Health, Kenyans have thrown COVID-19 containment measures to the wind as the country witnesses surging numbers and COVID-19 related deaths on a daily basis. To some, COVID-19 is no longer a matter of concern.
That the more cases we are reporting of COVID-19, the more we are seeing Kenyans taking to the bus, and some very late in the evenings. I thought the guidelines were very clear that where bars remain closed. And in his address to the nation on 6th July, the President insisted that the bars had to remain closed.
In the past few days, we have continued to witness misbehavior by some Kenyans, including some of our leaders who are hell-bent on flouting all measures that have been put in place. I am saddened that particularly here in Nairobi, where the numbers are growing in their hundreds every day, a lot of people do not seem to care.
The ministry is now concerned that bars have opened and are operating way past curfew hours. The government says the bars will be dealt with in accordance to the law.
So anyone who is serving a beer in a sitting arrangement is contravening the presidential directive. So only stern action can be taken against such. And the ministry, with conjunction with other relevant authorities, are working on this. And as the CS said, some may have to be closed, but not just closed. I think there's a legal notice in the process. And punitive action will be taken against not just closing the restaurants.
44 counties have so far recorded cases of COVID-19, save for Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot and Samburu counties. The Ministry of Health is calling on Kenyans to adhere to the measures set out, adding that the virus is widely spread in communities and with a rise in community transmissions.
We are aware that some people are not taking this disease seriously, and some do not even believe in the figures given by the government. This is not true, my friends.
Nairobi is leading with 7,744 cases, followed by Mombasa, which has 1,825 cases, and Kiambu County coming third with 769 cases. Kajiado has recorded 694 cases, with border counties of Busia and Machakos reporting 635 cases and 372 cases, respectively. Other counties that have recorded high numbers include Migori, Nakuru, Uasin Gishu, Kilifi, Makueni and Kwale counties.
As the country continues to record high numbers of COVID-19 on a daily basis, Kenyans have continued to disregard measures put in place by the Ministry of Health to combat the spread of coronavirus. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
And now the Ministry of Health is now blaming the police for failing to take action on political leaders who have been holding political rallies against the COVID-19 containment measures. Political leaders across the country have been holding meetings even after President Uhuru Kenyatta extended the ban on political gatherings.
The political leaders in Western Kenya have been holding series of meetings in full violation of COVID-19 restriction measures. Devolution CS Eugene Wamalwa and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya have had several meetings in the region. The president, in his address to the nation on 6th July, extended the ban on political meetings. Thousands of supporters to those political leaders have been flooding in those meetings, contravening the government directives. The Ministry of Health, however, is now blaming the police for failing to take action against those holding such meetings.
Okay. As far as following up on who has broken a regulation and what should be done, I think that is now government machinery that will swing in and take the necessary action that is required.
Meanwhile, the government has refuted claims that at least 2 cabinet secretaries have tested positive for COVID-19. This comes even as a government spokesperson, Cyrus Oguna, dismissed reports of being hospitalized in a city hospital after testing positive for the virus.
I don't know about any CSEs who were tested and who turned out positive. Honestly, I do not know. I don't know if my colleagues here know.
And Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja will be arraigned in court today for contravening COVID-19 measures. And now Sakaja, who presented himself at Kilimani Police Station, has also apologized to Kenyans and resigned from the Senate's ad hoc committee on corona.
Speaking after presenting himself at the Kilimani police station to record a statement, the senator admitted his mistake and said he will take full responsibility. Sakaja was arrested on Saturday in the company of 3 others in a city bar, contravening COVID-19 measures.
I, number one, take responsibility for having flouted the COVID rules on Friday. I was outside my home after 9, and that is against the rules. I apologize to Kenyans, and I will pay the full consequence of the law. It is regrettable, but all of us make mistakes. And so on that aspect, I do take responsibility, and indeed I want to urge Kenyans to follow the government's directives.
However, the senator took issue with the conduct of police officers after the incident, claiming that they intimidated his family. The senator denied allegations that he threatened police officers during his arrest and accused them of using excessive force against him.
And as I've said, I will bear responsibility for the legal issues. But the fact that the whole of Saturday and Sunday, more than 50 officers brandishing guns have been going to my residence, I'm not a fugitive. My children have not committed any crime. Why come intimidate them with guns? 50 officers. I am not on the run. I called Ndolo, I told him, if you want me to appear, I'm a leader, I'll appear. Jatisha mtu, sina nguvu ya kufuta mtu kazi, ama kutransfer mtu. Ni vile ile mambo ingine ambayo iliendelea, ndio ilinionyesha ni mambo ingine. Yaani hadi hata kupigwa ngumi, mimi.
Sakaja has in the meantime resigned from the Senate's ad hoc committee on COVID-19 and is set to appear at Milimani Law Courts tomorrow.
He has already paid cash bail, I think of some 10,000 shillings. So he'll not be in custody. He'll appear in court tomorrow.
And Monday, celebrated actor Papa Shirandula Charles Buko was laid to rest at his home in Namisi Village, Busia County. Buko died of COVID-19 at Karen Hospital in Nairobi last week. Mike Agongo reports from Busia.
It is at Namisi Village in Funyula constituency, Busia County, where the body of the renowned actor was laid to rest. Buko is the firstborn son to Mr. Cosmas Buko Wafula. Papa Shirandula passed on Friday last week. According to his widow, Beatrice Ndenga, the actor died at Karen Hospital in Nairobi in his car while waiting to be booked in at the hospital.
I went to Karen Hospital. Admission was just another process. I'm telling you, please, he needs support and an emergency. The time they're still preparing, he passed on while I'm sitting in the vehicle.
She states she had earlier asked Papa to undergo various tests, but she discovered he only availed COVID-19 tests, which are the only tests he underwent at the hospital.
And I told him, make sure they carry out 3 tests on you. They carry pneumonia, malaria, and the COVID-19. I told him COVID-19 because you're mingling with so many people. I told him pneumonia and malaria because the weather is too cold in Nairobi. I told him make sure there are 3. He told me okay. He went on Monday. Then he came back saying they are test. They are waiting for the results. Come on Wednesday, I asked him, the doctor has got the results, yes. And he had all the results, but the only one I'm seeing here is the one of COVID-19. What about the rest?
His family, including his mother, Valerie Wafula, and father, Mr. Cosmas Buko Wafula, eulogizing the late as a family man who was social.
I will reserve my comments mpaka baadaye ndio tutakuja kukaa.
Mtoto huyo ndio wangu, ndio tegemeo letu hapa. Ndio mambo yote hapa, bila mnatuona hivi.
Fellow comedians in the country with whom he worked eulogized him as down-to-earth and generous man who was ready to nurture young talents.
Tumepoteza gwiji ambayo amelea watu wengi sana, ikiwamo hata mimi. Yeye kutokana na hicho kipindi cha papa ndio nilipata hata idea ya kufanya mshamba.
Yaani ile uchungu ambayo tunasikia kwa roho ni kitu ambacho hakiwezi kuelezeka. Sijui niseme nini. Imenishtua tu kama vile imeshtua watu wengi sana.
Mr. Charles Buko amebadilisha maisha yangu. Ile maisha naishi sasa hivi, ile experience nimekuwa nayo, zile vitu mingi ambazo nimefanya katika maisha yangu na katika maisha yangu ya usanii ni Charles Buko amezikuza.
Tumekuwa tukipanga kipindi kipya ambacho alinipigia akiniuliza namba za wasanii tofauti, akiwapatia nafasi ya kazi. Na bahati mbaya ameenda hata kabla mimi nifanye ile kazi amenipatia niweze kufanya.
Papa leaves behind a widow and 3 children.
Tumepoteza.
And after a short illness, Papa Shirandula's life, full of hope and admiration, has just ended right here in this grave in Namisi village, Funyula constituency, county of Busia. Reporting for TV47 from Busia County, I'm Mike Kagwango.
May his soul rest in eternal peace. President Uhuru Kenyatta has conferred 24 advocates to the state's senior council. The 24 include Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, na Kenya Martha Karua, Dr. Faxon Wainaina Kagwe, O.M. Pakarsh Nagpal, Pravan Kumar Bori, Charles Waweru Gatonye, and Ruta Athiambo. Others are Frederick Ngatia, Mohamed Nyaoga, Albert Muma, Buta Aluhava, Siganga, and Kiragu Kimani. Others are Judy Thongori, Taib Ali Taib, Kioko Kilukumi, and Patricia Maende Nyaundi. The Law Society of Kenya had cancelled the conferment of senior council ranked 24 lawyers in May this year. This followed questioning of the impartiality of the Committee on Senior Council recommendation.
The race to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta as Mount Kenya region's kingpin is slowly intensifying, with meetings ongoing in the region and the city 2 years ahead of Uhuru's retirement. Although refuting the claims, a section of leaders from the region have recently held closed-door meetings discussing Uhuru's succession. Some of the prospect candidates in the region include former Gatanga MP Peter Kenneth, former Agriculture CS and TSP party leader Mwangi Kiunjuri, Murang'a Governor Mwangi Wairia, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Mombe Waiguru, Health CS Mutahi Kagwe, Agriculture CS Peter Munya, and with the sly entrance of former Gatanga MP Peter Kenneth back into national politics, eliciting mixed reactions, a section of Murang'a leaders have endorsed him as their preferred candidate and proposing the former legislature for a seat in the cabinet.
We are saying the president, once he reconstitutes his cabinet, let him consider one of us, that is Peter Kenneth. We are rallying behind him. We know he can do a good job if appointed to a senior position. We are united. You can see last time we were in Gatanga, we were several members of parliament. We are now here in Murang'a. We are also a group of members of parliament from Murang'a County.
We also wanted to tell them that what the president is proposing, we are in support. That one of ours, Peter Kenneth, is going to be amongst the reshuffle that will be done. And starting there to represent Murang'a County, he gives a very good picture because we know what Peter Kenneth has done during the time he was MP Gatanga 2 times. And this is a figure that is known in Western region, Nyanza, Eastern Coast. So this is a face that we would not shy of.
A group of leaders allied to the Deputy President William Ruto have criticized those drumming up support for Peter Kenneth, saying there are a lot of leaders from the region who fit the bill in succeeding President Kenyatta. A section of cabinet secretaries from the region have been said to have met over the weekend. Mumbi Chege, TV47.
Well, that's a different clip altogether. Apologies for that. Mr. Director, do we have the right clip or we proceed to the next story? All right, let's proceed to the next story. That's all about Mount Kenya region politics. But that aside, Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia, alongside other 3 cabinet secretaries, toured the Western region to inspect development projects in the region and the official launch of a 40-kilometer road from Bagadia to Misiho. The 1 billion shilling project was started by Bungoma County government to open up Tongaren constituency.
In his tour to the Western Region counties, Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia launched the second phase of the 40-kilometer road from Brigadier to Misiku, a project that will cost up to 1 billion Kenya shillings.
Wakati Governor Lusaka alikuwa governor hapa, alikuwa ananipigia simu kila siku kwa sababu ya hii barabara. Na nikasema leo tutazindua hii barabara. Tumesikia maombi yenu ya ile section kutoka Brigadier kwenda Matunda, kilomita 8. Waziri mwenyewe alikuwa ameniambia, na halafu hata mheshimiwa Eseli amesema, na hata governor wa Gamati amesema. Kwa hivyo tukirudi Nairobi, hiyo pesa ya kilomita 8 tutatafuta.
Speaking during the launch, Macharia warned the contractor, who has been blamed for poor workmanship, saying they will be inspecting the quality of work done after every project is completed.
There's a problem. Kuna shida hapa. Kwa sababu is not a chance by chance ya kwamba kila kiongozi akisimama hapa anasema hii contractor amefanya kazi baya. Sasa nimesikia, na kama tumesema, sasa hii pesa milioni 700 inatoka kule national government. Na ajue contractor nikwambie, I'll be coming here to check the quality of the work being done.
The 40-kilometer road project, which was started in 2016, costed the national government approximately 1 billion shillings.
Tuko na mawaziri watatu. Kwa nini? Sababu ya barabara zetu Western Kenya. Hii barabara tukimaliza, tunaelekea ile ya Musikoma kwenda Navaholo. Hiyo ina connect Bungoma County na Kakamega. Dunia itajua Vihiga County has the finest granite on the African continent.
Meanwhile, the 15-kilometer Gisambai-Shamahoko road, which will cost the national government 1 billion shillings, is among other projects that will be executed in Vihiga County. Andrin Kilemi for TV47.
Meanwhile, the current hospital refuted claims that the late popular actor Charles Buko, alias Papa Shirandula, was not attended to at the hospital. In a statement yesterday evening, the hospital has refuted the medical negligence claims by the deceased wife. And on that note, we take a short break. Remember, it's important that you keep interacting with us, keep sending in those messages, and of course, you can drop us your comments on social media, #MorningCafe at Linda_Alela at TV47, and we'll get to sample some of your comments as we proceed with the show. We take a short break. We'll be right back with much more.